Hello and welcome to another edition of Who You Got. Um, did I do? I don't think I did one this last Friday. Um, so because of that, I'm going. Excuse me. Because of that, I'm going to do about 10 videos. Actually, I don't know if this will be 10, but it's going to be a lot of videos that I'm going to just do in line and just kind of do them just to kind of keep up with things sports wise. Um, Baseball will be starting up soon. Yeah, it's going to start up on the 20th of this month, but that's just all your preseason stuff. The regular season starts, I think, the 18th of March. So, having said that, we'll jump right into it. I know you've heard everything about the Super Bowl that you want to hear and didn't need to hear. I get it. It was a great Super Bowl. I am not a super believer in that Super Bowl. There's too many holes in it. There's too many things that didn't. I'm cool with Philadelphia winning it because that's the NFC East. They get another one, so I'm cool with that. I'm also cool with it because it shines a light on what's wrong in Dallas, or it shines a big light. So I'm cool with that. Um, would I rather it been Dallas instead of Philly? But I ain't surprised it ain't. I mean, I've been watching Dallas for the last 30 years lose. I ain't expecting them to win nothing. So, that being said, the Super Bowl was too one-sided. And when I say that, I'm not saying I feel sorry for the Chiefs. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it didn't look like okay, I'll just say it. It looked fixed. And I've been saying this since I was young. I got into it with my stepdad because I told him that game is fixed. And the reason I know it's fixed because I was going to. They called it All Star Wrestling. So if you're old as I am, you know when that was. So they called it All Star Wrestling. I went every week when it was here. I went to every wrestling tournament from it. Well, it's called the WWE now. Before that, it was the WWF and the World Wrestling Federation. But before that, it was All Star Wrestling. That's what it was. So I used to go every week. I couldn't miss Vern Gagne, the Vern Gagne brothers, and what's his name, Andre the Giant, and all the stars. And of course, your stars always lost when they should have won. After they didn't beat everybody, and even when they win, they got to almost lose all the way up into the last second. Now, I'm 9, 10, 11, 12 years old seeing this, and it's just driving me crazy. Why can't they just beat the snot out of the villains? The Claw. The Claw. Yeah, I want them to get beat, but the Claw would do something dirty and find a way to win, and it would just have your blood pressure just high. Till I figured it out. I was about 11 or 12 years old. And I went to the chain match. Now, I'm a highly sensitive person when it comes to stuff like that. So the chain match was the event. It was the main event. So you're going to get to see I went to see the Vern Gagne brothers fight and stuff and do their thing, flipping over and doing certain moves and all that. So I was into that. When the chain match came, I got up and walked out. 12 years old. And the reason why, it didn't cost that much to go in there. So, I had my ticket. I was with, I think I was with 2 other friends. I told them, let's go. And they was like, why? I said, I'm never watching that crap again. Blood everywhere. They got big chains that go to you only see these chains this size when you go to like a junkyard or an auto shop or something. And they're just punishing each other with these chains. Blood everywhere. And it was just gory. And it dawned on me. I know what it feels like to hit somebody with a chain or get hit with one. That's not how it works. So, they got blood all down, dripping over the eyes and stuff. And when we left, They asked me what because I didn't really express myself until I got outside. When I got outside, I said, that crap is fake. They said, what do you mean? They said, what do you mean it's fake? I said, what I said is fake. That's fake. So I remember my friend asking me, why do I think it's fake? So I started explaining to him. If you hit somebody with a chain that size, with that kind of velocity, he's not fighting back with no chain. He's done. These blows, they're doing a whole match that's lasting 3 minutes per round. And they're using chains. And these chains are big. Somebody's lying. So, needless to say, I never went to a boxing match again. But they did. Wrestling match again. But they did. I don't think they bought into what I was saying. As a matter of fact, I know they didn't, because I remember them talking about it another time when they went to another one. They continued on for at least 4 or 5 years before they started saying, yeah, it's pretty fake. I think we were juniors or seniors in high school when they finally came to the conclusion that it was fake. I was there at 12. I was like, I'm never going to that crap. It's fake. Once I know there's a predetermined outcome, I can't get interested anymore. I'm a competitor. The best man gonna win. And even if the best man don't win, if he won, he's the best. So that's just how we are. Or at least that's how I am. So the public probably don't have this kind of wherewithal to understand that if we make the game what we want it to be, we'll keep you longer than if we just let it play out. I get it. I understand it. I understand why this would be done. I'm not saying I got proof. There are plenty of channels on YouTube that shows you proof that it's fixed. I'm not saying that I got proof. I don't have to see much. I can see enough to know what I'm seeing. If Kansas City had lost by 3 or by 1, I'd have bought that. But losing by 40, because even though the score was 40-22, that looks like you made sure the game was out of reach before you let Kansas City start scoring. They start playing Kansas City ball. I know there's plenty of games that look like that, but not, yeah. So I'm just going to say it. I don't think that game was fully, I think that game was scripted. I really do. Now, that being said, I'm cool with Philadelphia getting it. I would have been cool with Kansas City getting it. The three-peat or Philadelphia getting a Super Bowl to get the revenge, all that's a great story. It's all a great story. So I don't have a problem with that. Do I think every game is scripted? No, I don't, but I think the big ones are. The Super Bowl is too big now. It is too big to fail. In other words, it is so big that if they, let's say, okay, I'll give you one. Let's say Jacksonville and the Chargers were in the Super Bowl. You know how much money they would lose? They cannot let that happen. If Jacksonville ever go to the Super Bowl, they have to have 4 or 5 years of success first. Because they have to garner enough following for people to want to see them when they hit a Super Bowl. And even then, they got to play against somebody much more prominent than San Diego. Otherwise, the Super Bowl will still lose money. But if Jacksonville goes to the Super Bowl and plays the 49ers, they won't lose because there's a big enough following for 49ers. Or because the 49ers have 5 Super Bowls. Or if Jacksonville goes and plays against the Dallas Cowboys, the Cowboys are the most followed franchise ever. There is no one that gets followed more than the Cowboys. Patriots won 6 Super Bowls, and they ain't nobody know where they're at now. They don't even know where the Patriots play at because they don't have that kind of following. For some reason, that Texas team has that kind of following. So if they're playing Jacksonville in the Super Bowl, they won't lose money because people will watch that. So when you take that into account, right? They're going to script that big game because they can't afford to lose that money. So I'm not trying to douse Eagles fans with this kind of stuff. Throw shade. You know what? Philadelphia is the NFC East. But I did say, go back and look at my last video. I said, it's quite possible Philly will win this because for some reason, every time there's a tragedy in the U.S., that team will win the Super Bowl. In 2001, what happened? The Towers. And who won the Super Bowl? New England. In 2005, what happened? Katrina. Who won the Super Bowl? New Orleans. And this year, what happened? Plane crashes all in the Philly area. Even though, if you know that area, you know that there's only 50 miles between Baltimore, Philly, and D.C. Those planes crashed right in the middle of that area. One crashed in Philly at the mall. That was a tough one there. The way that plane landed, I'm waiting to hear exactly what they found in that black box, what happened. I think they got decompressed. I think that they all were gone way before that plane hit the ground. I don't think they fought it down. I think that they were gone. But I digress. So this happens. It blows up a whole block, burn up all the housing and the businesses all on that street. Cars blown up, engines out on the street. It is one of the worst scenes you've ever seen. Who won the Super Bowl? Philly. I told you in the last video that Philly will probably win because of that. Now, I also said in that video, I can't bet against the Chiefs, so I'm picking the Chiefs. I picked the Chiefs, but I did say I wouldn't be surprised if Philly wins because of that tragedy. Now I said it like that. I'm not saying the tragedy caused them to win. What I'm saying is, it's not an accident to me that whenever a tragedy happens, that team wins the Super Bowl. It took how many years for a team to win the Super Bowl in their own city? Brady did it in 21, 23, somewhere around 22. That's the first time a team won the Super Bowl in the city they're playing in. Then the Rams did it. So the Super Bowl started in 1967. But didn't win. That didn't happen until 2020 something. That means it is hard to do. Stars have to align to get that to happen. But it couldn't align for 50 years. It couldn't align for about 50 years. But then it happened twice in 3. Yeah, you do the math. Certain things that, there's a way things happen. So, am I trying to douse the NFL? No. Do I still watch it? Yeah, I'll still watch it. I'm not big on the Super Bowl because I know they got to script that. It's too big. They got to script it. But they're going to say they didn't, and everybody's going to say, not everybody, there's a lot of people saying, no, that shit is fixed. I'm going to just say it myself. Whether it is fixed or not, leading up to it, I don't know that there's that much fixing. However, it's a game that I love to play, like basketball, like I did love to play baseball at one point. When I got older, baseball was too slow for me. A pitch every 25 years? Nah, I can't do that. I can't stand around there and kick in the dirt for all that time while the pitcher sit up there and pick his nose. So, once they put that clock on it, though, the last game I went to, they had added the clock. So you got 25 seconds. That made that game 100 times better. I'm telling you, they should have done this 4,000 years ago. That made that game 100 times better when they put that 25-second clock on that pitcher. I like that game. I went to a Minnesota-Detroit game. A buddy of mine had tickets and invited me to it. I love that game. But before the clock, oh, yeah. Two things I didn't do. Soap operas and baseball. Not watching it. Especially not on TV. I'd go to a game. And you went to a game, you so busy talking and eating hot dogs and drinking a beer. You so busy doing everything else. The game didn't hurt. As a matter of fact, by the time you go to the bathroom, stop and get a beer, get you a hot dog, argue with your friends, hanging out. Hell, the same dude's still batting. So it wasn't no big deal. But either way, as an ex-athlete, I do feel it's a little scripted. I don't think that's such a bad thing. It is for me because I don't like an outcome predetermined. But the actual play of the game, it's hard to script exactly how you play the game. But don't no quarterback come in throwing the way Mahomes did, and then all of a sudden he can't find his receivers because 4 dudes took a whole Kansas City line who beat up the league. They had the best record in the league. No one got past that line. All of a sudden, in Philly all of a sudden became a genius on how to get to that quarterback. No, I don't believe that for a second. But it is what it is. It's done. It's good. It was a great Super Bowl. I'm glad the city of Philadelphia got something to smile about after what they just suffered. And we move on because that's just the way it is. So that's all I have to say on that. Oh no, this is who you got. I'm about to cut that out. That's all I got to say for this edition of Who You Got. Join me next when I talk about the new videos coming out. And I need to say before I forget that